All right, here's the deal. So yesterday marked the opening of the legal tampering period for teams to negotiate deals with free agents, but those deals won't come official until the beginning of the new league year. That is tomorrow. One of the players that has yet to land a deal is Le'Veon Bell, who, according to our Jeremy Fowler, wants $15 to $16 million a year in a new deal. He did address his free agency on Twitter, saying, "I'm so torn right now. Decisions. I call it good problems to have," Booger McFarland, who joins us now. What's going on, Booger?
What's happening, crew? How y'all doing?
What's up, big time? What's up, big time? I like the suit, sir. I like the suit.
They told me I was going to be on with Max and the best dressed man in the business, Stephen A. So I pulled out my Sunday best, Molly.
You said that in reverse, Booger.
No, he did not. No, he did not. No, he did not. Your outfits are sharp, Max, but they're very predictable.
That's the way
they're predictable.
That's the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you actually would look very sharp in this, Max. You should try this.
Booger, Sunday morning church,
shop in the same place.
I appreciate it. Stephen A. Le'Veon, is he worth $15 to $16 million a year?
I think the logical answer is it depends on the team, but I would say overall, yes. I mean, strike while the iron's hot. Consider what Antonio Brown just pulled off. Who knows? I mean, you got a guy like Deshaun Jackson. We'll talk about that a little bit later. He's going to end up with the Eagles. He was struggling to get his $10 million from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers guaranteed. They didn't want to come up as higher than 6. So what does he do? He ends up getting to Philadelphia, and it's going to be for $13 million. And so that's a plus. When you consider stuff like that, a $13 million for him, and Antonio Brown getting $30 million in guaranteed dollars, a Le'Veon Bell who sat out last year was worth a $14.5 million risk, but he didn't want to sign that deal because he's looking for a long-term deal. When you consider the talent and the level of excellence that he brings to the table, I don't think anybody could argue. The all-purpose guy, the last time we saw him, okay, the man had 321 carries. He had an additional 85 receptions. That is 406 touches, and he was the second leading receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. You take all of that into consideration, and you consider the elite, not just a dual threat, but the elite dual threat that he is. I definitely believe Le'Veon Bell is worth $15 million a year, and I would pay him if I were an Indianapolis Colts squad, if I were the Philadelphia Eagles, or somebody like that. Somebody, obviously, you got to be able to afford it, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. But anybody that could afford it, particularly if you're vying for a championship, I'm going to spend that money on Le'Veon Bell. And the Jets, too, who, by the way, have been throwing their money in the linebackers like the Anthony Barrs and Bosleys of the world. I mean, CJ knows. I'm telling you right now, the Jets could definitely use it, Le'Veon Bell. I'd pay him.
Le'Veon Bell is easily worth $15 million a year. I don't even think that's the issue. The issue is the guaranteed portion of the contract. The Steelers offered him $10 million guaranteed. It's $70 million. No, it's $10 million guaranteed. And what does that mean? And listen, people, I know it's a lot of money. I know if you're working with your hand somewhere, even if you're not, you're sitting behind a desk, you're like, $10 million.
By the way, I meant C.J. Mosley. I lost my train of Mosley. Right.
However, $10 million, when the government takes their share, that's $5 million.
Right.
Still a lot of money, right? But Le'Veon Bell is thinking, hold on, I'm the best in the world at what I do. And this is my time, 27 to 30, coming up right now, to make my fortune. And by the time everyone has their hand in my pocket, I'm getting a little less than $5 million. Like, that's going to take me and my family for the rest of my life. And I'm trying to make generational money now. So the question is, what is he worth guaranteed? Is Le'Veon Bell worth a $30 million guarantee? And I say the answer is yes, Booger, because as he says, he's right. He's not just an all-world running back. I mean, what does that really mean nowadays? It means you can also catch passes. But Le'Veon Bell is such a cerebral player. His timing is so good. You don't even, it's one thing, yeah, he can be your number 2 receiver. You can put him in the slot, and you can. But you can credibly split him out wide. I've seen him do it, and he responds very well to it. So in every down back entering his prime right now, coming off a year rest, is he worth a $30 million guarantee in spite of the fact that he's been nicked up, banged up here and there, and the durability? I say yes. If I'm a team with some money to spend, and if I'm Green Bay, if I had a little cap space and I was Green Bay, if I'm Indianapolis, if I'm Houston, and I'm thinking about play action with Le'Veon Bell, here's $30 million, brother, guaranteed, $45 million over 3 years. Take it.
You know, I'd probably guarantee more, but I think we need to understand, because you guys both make great points. Let's understand how we got here. He doesn't want to be paid as a running back. He wants to be paid as a playmaker. That's the reason Pittsburgh did not want to guarantee so much money. Stephen A., you eloquently stated all the carries and the receptions. He is a playmaker. Nick Saban told me once, he said, when I call plays at crunch time, I don't call plays, I call players. So I'm going to get the ball into my playmaker's hands. He is a premier playmaker in the National Football League. Is he worth $15 million a year? I can make an argument he's worth $16 million a year, because he's one of the ultimate playmakers in this league, and he hasn't been paid his just due. Le'Veon Bell hasn't had his big deal yet, so I understand he's sitting out right now waiting on the big deal to come in. And I know there's some teams out there deciding, do I make the huge plunge? If I'm the Jets, do I bring him in even though my offensive line is not that good? If I'm the Indianapolis Colts, do I get away from my strategy of building and developing and make a splash? I know this, whatever team gets Le'Veon Bell is not just getting a running back. They're not just getting a guy that can play on first, second, and third down. They're getting one of the ultimate playmakers of the National Football League. So he's worth $15, $16, $17 million a year, because at crunch time, you don't call plays in the National Football League. You call players, and he's one of the best.
I agree.
I was just going to ask the right fit.
Yeah, I agree with that. My only question is durability. My only issue with him is, entering these seasons now, how much do you guarantee? Because it could be 17 a year, but what's the guaranteed portion?
He just had a year off, though, Max. I mean,
yeah, that's why.
We're talking about durability. Here's a guy who we always talk about the carries and getting banged up. The guy just took a year off, and by all we know, he's in tremendous shape. So I think the durability concerns have to take a back seat now, especially with guys
I believe they have to take a back seat as well, but I also think, in fairness to the teams out there, and we don't agree with this, but he obviously had some issues in the past where he was suspended for a few games.
Right.
I've had teams, when they mention Le'Veon Bell, bring that up as
an excuse to keep the price down.
That's right. I'm saying they brought it up as possible justification for why the Steelers were reluctant to invest in him long term. My response to that was, if they weren't reluctant to give him those carries, if they weren't reluctant to throw him those passes, if they weren't reluctant to give him a franchise tag at over $14 million, the brother can play. So if the brother can play, stop trying to find excuses not to pay him, and recognize what he brings to the table and incentivize him to be on the field. That's how you handle that.
He's about to get paid.
He's about to get paid, and he deserves it. And he deserves it.
Right now, Todd Gurley, the highest paid back at 14 and change. Booger, thank you so much for being with us. Always good to talk to you.
Good seeing you, bro.
Anytime. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
A nice, solid tie with that will work next time, instead of the flowers.
All right, fashion police.
It's spring, Stephen A. Molly's been talking about how cold it is in New York. I'm trying to bring a little spring feeling to the show. Come on, baby.
We need that, right? We just changed
You
the
don't realize
clock.
we jealous because you're in warmer weather? You don't know that?
That's fit Green Bay, but they don't have the money.
Green Bay?
But they don't have the money.
That's right.
Michael Bennett is expected to join the defending champion New England Patriots. Coming up, we'll tell you what he told the Patriots about the anthem and whether it could be an issue.